Do you think of taking the PMP exam? Awesome! But do you know how to plan your preparation for the test? In this episode, I'm going to share with you the plan of how to get prepared for the PMP exam in 60 days. And by the end of the video, you are going to have a clear plan on how to move on. So, let's dive in. Hey! Welcome to my project management sandbox. If we have never met before, my name is Chris, I'm PMP certified, and actually it took me 3 months in whole from the idea to getting the project management professional certification. And in this episode, I'm going to walk you through the plan of how to get prepared for the PMP test in 60 days. So if you're interested, subscribe now and keep on watching. To begin with, let's clarify. You're ready to work hard and to follow the plan. Otherwise, it will take you forever to pass this way. The key here is to perceive the PMP exam as your personal project and manage it like as you're managing projects for your client. The difference here is that you are your client yourself and you are the resource to release this project. What is more, you will need not only to plan this project, but to execute the plan yourself too. On one hand, it will add additional challenge. On the other hand, it will make the things even more exciting to get them done. So what do you need to launch this project? You're gonna need the input data. And this is actually what you usually need to start a project. What I'm talking about is the key performance indicators that we consider while planning a project, and their time, scope and budget. Of course, funds are important, but as you have decided to take the test and to pass the certification, you should be aware about the process, how much the test costs, how much the course costs, and other relevant expenses. Thus, in our plan, we are going to focus on time and scope. On our project, the time is the period that you have to get prepared for the test, and this is 60 days. For the scope of the project, we have the actions that you need to undertake in order to get prepared for this test. And here in our list, we have the following items: PMP application, professional education, practice tests, and self-study. Are you ready? Now let's build the PMP exam preparation plan. Now, you have 60 days in order to get prepared for the PMP exam. And that is why you need to define how much time are you able to allocate to get prepared for the tests daily. Yes, daily, because 60 days is quite an intense period, and I know that some people are taking 6 months or even a year to get prepared for this test. However, the less period of time you have, the more advantages you finally get. Here is the thing, for the PMP there is no shortcut, and there is quite a big volume of knowledge that you need to obtain in order to pass this test. And while you're working intensively, there is less possibility to lose this knowledge and information that you have learned versus while you're working slowly. What I'm talking about is while you're getting prepared for a long period of time, most likely you will simply forget what you have learned 6 months ago, and by the test 100% you will need to repass everything once again to repeat all the information and to finally get prepared for taking the PMP exam. Do you really want to do this, or do you prefer to study intensively and to pass the test instantly? Now, considering the above, I'm suggesting to allocate 2 hours daily for getting prepared for the test. I personally studied 2 hours daily at minimum to get prepared, and according to my experience, this is the best convenient and the most realistic amount of time to be allocated on a daily basis. A little bit of math. We have 60 days and 2 hours daily, and that is gonna be 120 hours to be prepared for the PMP exam. Now let's look at our scope and work with estimates. We need to decide how could we spend those 120 hours in the best efficient way. For number 1, we have the PMP application, and for this section I would allocate about 2 or 3 hours so that you have enough time in order to verify everything in your application before sending it to the Project Management Institute. And by the way, I have these 2 videos where I'm describing what you need to qualify for the test and how to complete the project description for the PMP application. Number 2 is the professional education, and this is gonna be a course which will give you 35 contact hours, and actually this will take you not less than 35 real hours plus the homework. So for completing the course I would allocate 40 hours in total. And here is a little trick. I was listening to the course 3 times. The first one is gonna be those 40 hours that you're gonna consume in a full mood, and you will need to do this before applying for a PMP. The reason is that you need to apply the course certificate to your PMP application in order to be eligible for the test. However, to consume and to digest all the information from the course, 1 time is not enough. That is why you are going to take the test 2 times more, but on a modified speed. Let's say we are going to increase the speed to 0.5, which in total will give us additional 54 hours. Let's count a little bit. 120 hours minus 40 hours for taking the course initially, minus 3 hours for completing the PMP application, and minus 54 hours for taking the course 2 additional times on the modified speed. Thus, finally, we have 23 hours left. What else do we have in our scope? Next is practice test. A practice test is a trial test that is completed in a full mode like the PMP exam, and it is required for you in order to get efficiently prepared for the test. So for the trial test you need to allocate 4 hours without interruptions, like as you are taking the PMP exam itself. It is strongly recommended to take at least 1 practice test before the exam. But from my experience, 1 time is not enough, especially if you want to pass the PMP exam from the first time. What is more, you will need to earn at least 80% of the correct answers on the practice tests in order to get confident and get prepared for the PMP exam itself. And that is why I suggest taking the practice tests at least 3 times, which is gonna give us minus 12 hours to our time total. And we have 11 hours left for our last item from the scope, and this is self-study, which is actually fairly enough. And I would spend those 11 hours on learning the formulas and terms and on taking the quick test via the mobile applications. We have done the great work. We have built the project scope, we have estimated the scope, we have prioritized the scope, and based on the timeline that we have built the approximate schedule that we need to follow in order to prepare for PMP in 60 days. Here it goes! Now you know the plan on how to prepare for the PMP in 60 days. Don't forget that you need to start with the professional course, then complete the PMP application and proceed with practice tests and self-study. I trust that you can do this as fast as I managed to, and please let me know in comments if you find this information helpful. Don't forget to like this video and share it with friends. See you soon. Cheers!